Welcome back, Overwatch fans, to another amazing night.
We have a fantastic match tonight, no question about it.
But the barrage! Make sure they can't even follow up afterward.
And Wash has found 2 in this fight thus far. Make that 3, make that 4 right now here. Dynamic team gets a 4-man tire!
Those who find the picks will save the fight, and they don't really need to save what they've already won.
103 and 3 wins the Primal Rage!
Experience tranquility.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's Transcendence tier matchup for Overwatch Tranquility Community. We have the number 2 Decapitators taking on the number 4 overall Sydney Sunsets in this round 2, week 2 matchup. I will be your analyst for tonight, BethCon2, and joining me is Dexatron for play-by-play. How are you doing today, Dex?
I'm doing great, Beth. It's a pleasure to be back in the booth with you. I know we had a little bit of a rough spot there during the community pugs for the charity event, but bygones be bygones. I'm happy to be back in the booth with you here. And like you said, this is a great matchup here tonight. The Decapitators come into this one 6-0 on the season. The Sydney Sunsets come into it 4-2 on the season. And like you said, it's a 2 versus 4 matchup. So this is probably one of the best matchups of this week.
Yeah, absolutely. And both of these teams have made a pretty good name for themselves here. Decapitators have a lot of really familiar names on the team, from Smugs to Smarties to Cry, who I believe was MVP last season. Just a lot of really well-known people, and it's an org that's been around since season 1. Sydney Sunsets may not be as well-known in the community, but they're certainly making a name for themselves lately. It'll be really exciting to get to cast this match tonight. I'm excited to see what they can do and who on their team really has that shining star pop-off potential as we're heading here to Lijiang Tower. Go for it.
No, go ahead. I'll let you finish.
I was going to say, I love Lijiang Tower as a map. With this being Overwatch 2, it's hard to say exactly what people will be running here. I think we can see a wide variety of things, so it'll be cool to see what people run out on.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've cast the Sydney Sunsets before in other leagues, so it's great to see them in this league, especially at this tier. But Overwatch 2 has been a little bit different with comps right now, because you can't normally rely on the brawl comp. Sydney Sunsets right now teasing us with what I could only say might be the worst comp I've ever seen so far. Now we're starting to see some.
I was going to say, I think Sydney Sunsets and Decapitators are actually switched up on the screen, because Andy and Cry and Smugs are all in the Decapitators. But that said, looks like we're running a Zarya sort of divey comp into a more pokey comp over on the Decapitator side of thing, as the Pharah is squaring off looking for those maybe boops off the map here.
Yeah, they are going after this Baptiste right here and trying their hearts, and they're able to get them off the map. Garlic Bread picks up Smugs there early, going after the other support right now. Cry, she's not in the best scenario right now, trying to wall ride away, not able to get away from Garlic Bread though. Pyro though trying to get rid of them, not able to, and that will force a fallback here from the Decapitators. But we do see a trade come out at the end there. However, it won't necessarily matter as the Sydney Sunsets should take the first point.
Yep, Sydney Sunset's taking the first point. Honestly, a massive pick by Garlic Bread to get Smugs off the map. Arguably, Flex supports the most important role in the game right now, so being able to just get him completely out of the fight, make him a non-factor, just made Sydney Sunsets able to take this with ease.
Yeah, and look at this. Smugs already swapping off that Baptiste, now going to the Ana instead. Now it's almost a close mirror match right now. The only difference is the DPS line, but we see Andy take out Doc early. That is a good thing here for the Decapitators as they now start to get some pressure on point. Both Divas kind of fighting it on point. Pyro raining in some damage from just off point. Does have that beam up to 100%, so it could be dangerous if someone is able to get hit by that. And we do see Pyro hit Vincent, but the Garlic Bread barrage is able to find 2 right back keeping this in favor of the Sunsets for the moment. However, the fight is still breaking on point. Numbers are in favor of the Sunsets now, as Garlic Bread still on a tear right now, takes out 2 more. Andy able to take out 1, and Garlic Bread completely kills the entirety of the Decapitators there.
Yeah, it definitely looked like it was going to be going Decapitators' way at first. They got a couple of early picks. They were looking really solid, but Garlic Bread just absolutely popping off on that Pharah, using his barrage to a great advantage, and already halfway to another one as we head into 62% of the point being capped.
Yeah, look at this. The Decapitators really only have that Nano and the bomb about to be ready, and we see Aurora here hack Vincent, but they are taken up by Doc. Angel finds Fish. Vincent is still hacked here, but does not have to really fear that Sombra anymore, but Andy and Pyro take out 2 more members of the Sunset. This is by far the best team fight we have seen from the Decapitators as of yet. 1 more member on point. It is Sephora, but Sephora finally gets taken out there by Andy, and now the Decapitators should be able to take their first point.
And surprisingly, they did that with very, very few ults used. It looks like they just are down Smugs' Nano for that. They're coming up on a lot of ults being able to hold it here. Oh, and they decide to use bombs super early. That'll buy them even more time moving out here.
Yeah, it finds Fish there. A good one for them. And does D-Mech support that? Aurora finds Garlic Bread, and this can really force the Sunsets here to, you know, kind of just stall out, wait a little bit. And it's just going to give these Sunsets, or Decapitators, a little bit more time to build up that percentage on the point.
Yeah, definitely some time-buying ultimates coming in here. That said, giving the Decapitators a little bit more time to get some ults of their own. They've got another barrage from Garlic Bread, who's been shown to be a massive force on that Pharah so far. Doc, though, also coming up on the Sojourn ultimate. We saw them hit a couple of really nice right clicks here, so it'll be interesting to see what they do with this new character in the game and this kind of fairly new ultimate that we can see coming out.
Yeah, almost everyone's ult is ready right now, but the railgun comes out from Doc First. Huge EMP comes out from Aurora, hits 4 of the 5 members of the Sunsets, and look at that, already 4 of those 5 are gone off this map. Fierce the only one left alive there, but they did jump off the map instead to rejoin their team. And the first team kill of the match will go to the Decapitators.
Yeah, and like you said, that is completely off of the back of Aura. Absolutely wicked fast ult build there. They were able to get in, get that ult off, and honestly, Sunsets just didn't stand a chance as the Decapitators were able to just run over them.
Sephora throwing their bomb in the action. They're not able to find Cry. That's going to be the go button for the barrage. Comes out from Garlic Bread. The Diva for the Decapitators, though, eats up a lot of that. Doc, though, finds Primo. After not fighting a lot with their railgun last, or with their ultimate last fight. However, the Sunsets here are able to retake point even now, and now they retake the lead, and the team fight's still going on. Cry is back around the point for the Decapitators, but right now just trying to stay alive as they really need this Lucio for the contest. Garlic Bread able to get rid of Andy, so no big Diva left anymore for the Decapitators. And now we see a soldier swap come out from Pyro, just trying to maybe rain in some damage, have that sustain with the health regen they do have. Docto gets incredibly low, sitting on 1 health right now. Garlic Bread gets taken out by Andy, who swapped over to the ball. They also take care of Vincent and Fish. Andy throwing their team on their back right now. Cry is able to pick up 1 kill as well. The D-Max now on Sephora should be the point flip for the Decapitators.
Yeah, that looked so much like it was going to go Sunset's way first, getting that really early pickoff onto Andy, but Decapitators were just going after their high priority targets. They were able to focus who they needed to focus, and with that target focus, were able to flip it.
Now we do see a contest come out from the Sunsets here late. However, they are still trying to get all around. Garlic Bread is slept. Fish is already down. Same is for Garlic Bread. The EMP comes out from the Decapitators. It hits all 3 members of the Sunsets on point. 2 of them already down, and doesn't make it 3, and that should be the first point of Lijiang Tower going over to the Decapitators.
Man, if the rest of the maps go like this one we are in for a heck of a game tonight. Holy smokes, 99-99 on both sides. Decapitators able to pull the edge out at the end. And really, you got to hand that one to Aura and Andy, I think. That Tank Sombra duo was just doing so much work on Sydney Sunset's backline. Going into a little bit more of a closed-off map here. I feel like teams tend to favor more brawl points. At least they did in the Overwatch 1 meta. But we do see that the Decapitators are going over to that Zarya, so maybe a little bit more brawly as we head into this more enclosed point.
Yeah, and Zarya is probably by far the most picked tank at the moment right now, only followed up closely probably by Diva. However, you do see basically now we do see a straight mirror match coming out. Each team running that Soldrin, Genji, Zarya, Lucio, and Baptiste here. And looks like it's just going to be a fight for this high ground by the point. Both those Zaryas here are going to be trying to build up energy as fast as they can. We already see Andy pick up 1 kill and get completely almost charged up there. Getting a little bit of losing some charge now, but they are doing a good enough job forcing these Sunsets back at the moment.
Yeah, really early pick there is going to be so much in Decapitators' favor, but they're kind of taking this fight pretty slow and pokey, which is, oh, never mind. Smugs gets a pick out of Vincent. That should effectively send the Sunsets out of this fight.
It should, but Sephora and Fish are trying to do their best up there. Aurora is able to find Sephora. Fish and Garlic Bread fall shortly after, and Doc in a really bad situation right there, just poking a little bit too far ahead, loses their life, but it will be a fast respawn as they will regroup with their team right now.
Yeah, looking at kind of ults coming up here, Aura and Andy are both coming up for their ults on the Decapitator side, while the Sydney Sunsets are really just getting close up on the window here. Aura popped off on Sombra last map. I'm really excited to see what they can do on the Genji here, but they may not even need to use it as Pyro gets an early pick on a Doc.
Yeah, that's a mistake there by the Sydney Sunsets, losing Doc too early in that fight. Here comes the grab from Andy. It captures 3 members of the Sunsets, already getting rid of 2, make that 3. Sephora's still alive. They are able to take out Smugs, but eventually Sephora will fall as well, and the Decapitators continue to just add on to their lead.
Yep, and without Smugs, the Decapitators may not be able to hold as aggressive and as an angle as they want to, but Sydney is just taking these fights super slow and getting kind of slow, staggery backups, which is playing right into Cap's favor since they're holding the point. 50% of the point has gone over to the Decaps, and Sunsets are coming in with a boatload of ultimates of their own at this point.
Yeah, we have dueling blades ready to go. Garlic Bread pops theirs first. The damage switch comes out from Smug. Garlic Bread still just looking for anything, not finding anything with this blade. Will they? But they might be able to flip point here, and they do. However, the Decapitators still have a lot of their ultimates at their disposal. Pyro now popping that ultimate of theirs, still trying to find anyone. Aurora popping their own blade. The Immortality Field comes out, and 2 straight kills go the way of the Decapitators here. Aurora still looking for that third. Andy able to get rid of the dueling Zarya. Pyro and Pry take care of the last couple members of the Sunsets before Aura. They're finally able to get rid of Fish, and now the Decapitators retake the point.
Gotta love those utility blades, right? Like Aura may not have gotten a lot of kills with his Dragon Blade, but he was able to distract the team enough and cause enough chaos that the rest of his team was able to come in and clean up. 19% only on the way of Sydney Sunsets. Pyro gets another early pick out there into Vincent. It's probably getting into last fight territory here as we watch the Sydney Sunsets coming up on a couple of ults.
Yeah, grab coming out from Sephora, but they will not live to see the benefits of it. Actually, there are no benefits of it. If anything, it's actually a bad thing for them, as 4 of the members, now making all 5 members of the Sunsets fall there. And the Decapitators should easily win Lijiang Tower off that fight right there.
Yeah, really, really good showing by the Decapitators there. They looked maybe a little bit lost on the first point of the first map, but as we saw in that last one, they were really able to pull it together. They ran that brawl absolutely perfectly, setting the tempo exactly like you want to do. And Sydney Sunsets looked a little caught on their back foot, but it'll be interesting to see what map Sunsets decide to go to next. We no longer have 2 CP, so that will not be our next map type. I believe we go to Hybrid next now. So it'll be interesting to see which of the map options they choose. Looks like based on that last performance, they may want to stay away from a little bit more of the enclosed brawly maps and play to something that can work in their really strong Pharah players' favor. But that said, it's got a lot of game left to go. It's only 1-0, so yeah, we'll be staying tuned and seeing what's coming up next here. But yeah. Dex, what are you looking forward to in this map? What do you think's gonna happen?
I mean, you talk about hybrid maps, and I always kind of jump to King's Row because I feel like that's a map that everyone will probably gravitate towards. But there are a couple new maps. Maybe we even see a Blizz World come in because you talked about wanting to get away from maps that are kind of enclosed. And while King's Row is not necessarily enclosed, it does get tighter and tighter. Blizz World though does allow a little bit more open area team fights, especially for, as you said, the Sydney Sunsets had that strong Pharah on that first point of Lijiang Tower there. So maybe that could play into their hand there. However, I still just normally think we're going to see King's Row. The game's only been out a couple weeks now. I don't think we're going to see any of the new hybrid map.
I don't know. I'm just a Harmony tier player, but I feel like for the last 2 weeks we've run nothing but Midtown. Like everybody's been picking Midtown. So I'm trying to remember exactly which maps are in the pool. I know it's Midtown and Parisio, and I can never remember what the third one is. Maybe like
Aikenball.
Eichenwald. Okay, so King's Row's not an option here, but maybe an Eichenwald with that Pharah play. It's always a little bit of a gamble if you pick some of the new maps, just because you never know which of you have practiced on it more, right? Like, one team gets a slight edge on having scrimmed it one more time this early on, and it could just be the difference maker. So, always a little bit of a gamble, but it's also fun to see these new map types coming out.
Yeah, but I always kind of think the game's still, like you talked about, maybe going to Midtown. It's the new map, but that might be a reason we don't see it. It's new. Everyone might want to still try to go in their comfort zone with these maps they know, like King's Row and Eichenwald. there's probably some other map that and Nubani. But again, they might just want to stick with what they're comfortable with at the moment. Midtown might be coming up probably in a week or two, I would say, is when we start to see that a little bit more regularly here. But I just kind of want to talk about what what we saw there on that first map there. Huge somber plays coming out, especially on that first point from Aura there, or Aura. They did a great job. They got a 5-man and a 4-man EMP that essentially won them T points. And at the end there, won them the point. And we could talk about how a lot of these characters are brand new. We saw the Soldierin come out. We saw them get a lot of picks early, especially on the second point, where they really should not have been getting those early pickoffs. However, they just continue to get those early pickoffs because of that disruptor shot.
Yeah, Sojourn has so much early pick potential in these comps, especially with that right click being more of a hit scan. It can really just throw off your whole game, and we definitely saw that happen to Sydney Sunsets a couple of times on that point. But that said, it does look like we are going to Midtown. I feel like it's of the new maps and of the maps in this pool, it's the King's Rowiest, if that makes any sense. You've got the kind of tight turning corners and weaving rooms, and like that endpoint is completely enclosed and things like that. But again, kind of an interesting choice. If you're the Sunsets, I would think you might want to go for more of an open air sort of map, but maybe they've got something here that they've been practicing and workshopping, and they know what they're going to do.
I mean, yeah, it's one of those new maps. Not everyone necessarily knows what the best kind of strategy or comp is for this map yet, so it allows you to play around something completely different. And right now we're seeing the Sunsets come out. Well, Doc was on the Symmetra there for a moment. I was gonna be happy about that, but crushed my dreams. But Sapporo's coming out here on the Hog, which is an interesting pick here at the moment. I would still normally expect to see a Diva or a Zarya over Hog, but we see Smugs coming on the Kiriko. First time we're seeing that this series, and it's gonna be interesting to see how the Decapitators play around that, because Kiriko really only became playable in comp games yesterday.
Yeah, but that said, Kiriko's been really, really strong from this way it's been seeming. She's got that cleanse ability. She's got a decent amount of healing output. She's got a get out of jail free card. Just really, really strong. So it'll be interesting to see how they play it.
Yeah, Doc gets an early pickoff there, but they lose Garlic Bread. Support them getting some use out of this Roadhog early on point. And look at the Sunsets already building up to 2 ticks here on point. And it looks like the Decapitators might just let them have it. Pyro, though, getting that kill on Fish might change things here. Garlic Bread takes care of Pyro, though, getting some revenge for Fish there. And now we're seeing the team fight break out on point on the board with Smugs. They're trying to do whatever they can to keep their team alive. Andy takes care of Doc. So only down to that one Tracer for the Sunsets right now. And they're so close to capping point, 92%, but Garlic Bread gets taken down by Smugs. Aura takes care of Sapporo. And now we are seeing the Decapitators finally get some sort of presence in this map so far.
Yeah, Sydney Sunsets took that really well. They're playing a really, kind of an every man for himself pick comp. Not a lot of synergies there, but a lot of high damage output and a lot of potential to get picks. And they caught the Decapitators a bit on their back foot, and we see here Sapporo getting another early pick onto Aura, which will allow them to push in and hopefully go for capping this point.
Yeah, it should be what they should be doing right now. Getting rid of that Diva is such a big play for them, as Garlic Bread is typing out the lyrics to California Girls in chat. Still, only need to get 1 tick here. Garlic Bread does have the bomb ready, but Doc falls early. The bomb now being thrown out by Andy. It's able to take care of Vincent, and that might force a fallback here from the Sunsets, as they really cannot go in this fight with just Fish on support. But Fish has gone out of this fight too. Garlic Bread is out as well, and this has to force a fallback now from Sapporo, who does have a whole Hog ready, but there's not really a lot that I think they can do with that, especially with Andy on that Diva.
Yeah, definitely. Want to call out Cry on that last fight, though. The Roadhog was in cover, and she was able to boop them out of cover, so the bomb took them out. Really, really great Lucio play there. But yeah, like you said, Sydney Sunset's coming in with that whole Hog ultimate. Maybe they'll be able to make something of it as the other players are able to pull things up. But they've got a lot of ults coming up on the Decapitator side, too, so it might be difficult for them, especially as we see Aura setting up for the EMP.
Yeah, they are looking for that EMP right now. They hit 4 members of the Sunsets. 1 already out of this fight. Doc, Sakura, and Fish, though, able to kind of withstand for a little bit. Now we see the Kasuni Rush come out from Smugs. The Dragon's coming out from Doc. Does not find anyone, but kind of gets him out of that Kasuni Rush for the moment. Pyro finds Garlic Bread here. And Smugs having to use that Immortality grenade there to keep themselves alive. However, everything continuing to go the way of the Decapitators. Fish, though, does find Aura with their coalescence there. Andy finds Fish, though, right back, and the Sunsets are starting to run out of time here, and they really only have a beat to come into this next fight with.
Yeah, and the Decapitators have a decent number of ultimates coming up, including the Bomb, the Sojourn ultimate, the Beat, just really, really stacked in their favor. Sydney Sunsets still have a chance to pull this out. We saw them look pretty strong right there at the beginning, so if they can get a couple of early picks off like they have, they still have a really good chance here. That said, Decaps, that Kiriko Cleanse and Immort has just been so strong for them this fight. It's almost like having another ultimate in your pocket, so we'll see if they're able to withstand the rush of the Sydney Sunsets as we come into last fight.
Yeah, before getting really chunked down there. Pyro immediately takes out Fish, who wanted to bring that fight to him. Garlic Bread, they said the same thing to them. A headshot with that railgun is deadly. EMP now coming out from Aurora on point. Andy takes care of Doc. Aurora takes care of Sapporo. And that just might do it for the Sunsets, especially as Vincent falls there as well. 10 seconds now. And I really believe it's only Garlic Bread around that point who can get there to touch. They're trying to. They're able to touch, but they die pretty fast after touching.
Yeah, and definitely a good showing by the Sydney Sunsets there at the beginning. They ran out on a comp that was unconventional and were able to almost cap the point, but Decapitators' defense there just looking so strong. They were able to draw out fights and get stagger picks and get early picks and really just build up such a strong ult economy that Sydney Sunsets were really trying to fight uphill kind of the entire time. That said, still a whole half of the game left to play, and the Decapitators have to cap 91.9% of the point in order to win this thing. If you're the Sydney Sunsets here, I think going for something a little bit wonky on the attack did work for them at first. I wouldn't be surprised if they rolled out on something like that, although it is a little bit more dangerous on defense since you don't have the swap potential as easily. But that said, it looks like they are running out on at least a Widowmaker here. Long sight lines on the back point of this map could give them a little bit of an advantage there, and a Junkrat puts in a lot of damage. Decaps running a pretty standard composition. You got that Kiriko Diva that tend to synergize pretty well with the ability to sort of dive in together. And that with the pick potential of Pyro sort of sitting in the back line and mowing people down. I think they've got a pretty good comp coming into this.
Yeah, but just looking at that Sunsets lineup again right now, I really believe Garlic Bread is going to have to play such a big role in this one. They're going to have to find pick after pick here, and especially if they fall early in the team fight. It really does hurt them overall, because that Widowmaker can do a lot if they are able to land headshots, but if they're struggling and dying too early in a team fight, it will really hurt them.
Yeah, we see Garlic Bread is taking this really, really aggressive angle, looking for that early pick, seeing whether they can stop the fight before it even starts. But looping around behind them now as they're trying to pressure them out.
And look at that, they're able to take care of Smugs, but Garlic Bread immediately gets taken out right after that by Pyro. So the Decapitators are down at support for the moment, but the Sunsets are down DPS. I would expect to see a swap come out from Garlic Bread, but it looks like they're going to stick on the Widowmaker here for the moment. The Sunsets are doing a good job of just keeping the Decapitators around that train right now.
Yeah, and Decapitators are kind of taking a little bit of a soft reset here from the looks of it, or at least holding until they're back to full team. But Pyro takes out Garlic Bread, which might be their opening.
Yeah, Pyro not allowing Garlic for the play on the defense, and not allowing Vince to play as well. Aurora takes care of Doc, and he takes care of Fish, and that might just do it. Support trying to do whatever they can on the Sigma, but they fall as well. Now will we see any late contest come out from the Sunsets? There's no clear path to get there, so it's going to be hard, but I do not believe and know they will not be able to. The Decapitators will take the second map as well.
Yeah, Decapitators played that composition completely perfectly. They didn't rush things, they played patiently, they waited for their DPS to get picks and what they needed. Pyro here on the Sojourn we see with play of the game, just absolutely massive there, hitting those right clicks like you wouldn't believe, just really, really solid play all around.
Yeah, they did not allow Garlic Bread to play at all on the defensive side, and it really did hurt them because I said the Sunsets were going to live and die by that Garlic Bread pick. And essentially, once Garlic Bread died, that was the Decapitators' go button initially. When Garlic Bread came back, they were the first one to fall as well, and that was their go button yet again to start taking the point. And eventually, it was just a straight team wipe for them.
Yeah, and Garlic Bread wasn't doing badly on the Widow. They got that Kiriko pick early in the first fight. They were able to put some pressure there, but like you said, Decapitators just recognized that. They were able to jump on the Widow, then jump on the supports and end the fight fairly quickly from there. We'll be rolling into halftime now. We have a 10-minute break in between maps. Decapitators up 2-0 over Sydney Sunsets. Still a lot of game left to play, so see you back in about 10 minutes. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the second half of our match between the Decapitators and the Sydney Sunsets. Looks like we're going to be going to Circuit Royale for our first map here, as the Decapitators are up 2-0 on the Sydney Sunsets. The Sydney Sunsets got to choose this map. Really interesting choice by them. I'm excited to see what kind of comps we see them roll out on here. But Dex, what have you thought about the game so far?
I mean, the first map was really close, in all honesty. The first point on Lijiang Tower, 99% for each side. And really, I believe on Control Center, it was just whoever got that first team fight win, and it was the Decapitators. And basically, they just kind of controlled the tempo of the rest of that map there, and eventually won it. On Midtown, though, we saw the Sunsets come out with what we called an interesting comp on their offensive try, and it worked out really well for them in the beginning. They did a really good job, got up to almost 92% point capped, but then they really never got any control of the point after that. It kept losing team fight after team fight. And then on defense, they did the exact same thing, where they had a pretty normal comp, and then we saw that Widowmaker pick. And like I said, that entire comp right there hinged on that Widowmaker. They got one kill to start out, but then they got headshotted twice and never really got anything else going after that.
Yeah, Sydney Sunsets have shown some definite pop-off potential with some of these fights. They're just showing a little bit of trouble with consistency. That said, it looks like they're rolling out on kind of an interesting comp if they stick with this Reinhardt. They've got a brawly tank with some brawly supports, and then really two a pokey DPS and a divey DPS. Decapitators are running something a little bit more standard with a hard poke on this map, so it'll be interesting to see how the Sunsets play around that.
Yeah, and look at that. You see Pyro immediately throw that disruptive shot on the spawn door, and the Sunsets decide to walk straight through it, and Pyro gets a decent amount of ult charge off that. Now, the Decapitators are going to try to hold this high ground spot right here. Aura's going to try to find at least one headshot, and Garlic Bread, who was on a DPS before, now on the tank, charges it and dies. Same as Fish and Sephora. They also die as well. Same thing with Vincent. Doc, the only one left alive for them now, but is kind of, between a rock and a hard place right now in that small room.
Yeah, running Brawl in general in Overwatch 2 is just so much more of a complicated endeavor. I feel like in Overwatch 1, when it was such a war of attrition, it was easy to just be like, run your heads into each other until one person comes out on top. But now you have to make such perfectly clean rotates every time to get any sort of value off of Brawl. And we're seeing a really sort of split attack here by the Sydney Sunsets.
Yeah, but they're starting to finally push the cart right now. They still haven't gotten anyone down the Decapitators yet. And Pyro finds Doc. However, Fish does take care of Aura, but they eventually do lose their life to Andy shortly after that. Smug takes care of Sephora again. And I'm kind of wondering what the Sunsets are doing at this point, because it doesn't seem like what they're doing is working for them so far.
Yeah, if you're the Sunsets right now, you're thinking about what are you going to do to make the switch, either by the way that you're playing your comp that you're currently on, or what characters or comp swaps that you need to make in order to push this. Decapitators are getting pretty close. They'll probably have all 5 ultimates by the end of this here. Sydney Sunset's not quite able to push that payload under bridge coming into this fight, and they pretty much are sitting on just a window. Still 2.5 minutes to go. They've got lots of time to build this up, but things are looking firmly in Decap's favor at this point.
Yeah, Pyro does have that ultimate ready to go at the moment. Same with Aura now, but already 2 kills for the Decapitators. I don't really think they need to use these ultimates in this team fight. The Sunsets have really struggled to take out anyone on the Decapitators so far. I believe they only got 1 kill throughout the first 2 minutes of this map, and only less than 50 meters. Not a lot good to say about the Sunsets so far.
Yeah, Decaps are playing their comp absolutely perfectly. This is kind of a bold move. It may be the move that Sydney Sunsets need in order to get that opening, but that said, Pyro popping his ult and able to pick off a couple here.
I mean, Fish comes right back and takes care of Smug, so maybe they're still in this fight. However, Pyro immediately denies that claim I just made by killing Doc. But Vincent and I believe that's Sephora right there trying their best on cart right now. Garlic Bread is back. They do have that shatter ready to go, and they use it already. They find Aura out. That should be a pick. That needs to be a pick, but Aura able to get out there with some great help there from Smarty on that BAP. Sephora, Garlic Bread falling early, but the Sydney Sunsets are starting to push the cart a little bit. However, with that Graviton Flux right there, that'll be another team kill in favor of the Decapitators.
Yeah, Smarty's definitely pulling it out there with the BAP heals on that. If the Sunsets are able to kill that downed Hanzo, they probably roll into second point, but here they are setting up with less than a minute left as the Decapitators still have a couple of good ults in their pocket. They're looking to... Sunsets are trying to get this cart to the end of first point.
Yeah, Sephora and Doc do have their ultimates ready to go, but Aura has an ultimate that can pretty much break up the Sunsets here, and Smugs has an ultimate here that can pretty much cancel out the Sephora ult. And here comes the Dragons from Aura, and it does exactly what it needs to do. It kind of offsets the Garlic Bread away from the rest of their team. Pyro able to take care of them there and take care of Fish. Aura takes care of Sephora. Less than 30 seconds now left to go, and the Sunsets here just I'm still confused on what they're doing. They still have some ultimates. Doc pops this ultimate really early, and it's not finding anything, instead shooting at their own team.
Yeah, can't help but think the Sunsets might be struggling a little bit with the mental right now. They're not playing very cohesively. They're not using their ults in a decent way, and they're able to push it a good 77 meters here, but Decapitators are just looking super strong kind of at every roll. The DPS are popping off, the tanks are taking and holding space, and the supports are putting out tremendous amounts of healing and damage to keep them alive. If you're Sunsets here, it's going to be tough to hold it. It's not impossible. Obviously, Decapitators just did it, but you're going to have to really bring things back together and really get your focus on if you're going to want to try to turn this map around and win the game, or have a chance of winning the game, I should say.
I mean, yeah, at this point, I mean, it's going to be really rough. 76 meters. I mean, it is possible to stop the Decapitators here before they reach that point. As hell, I've seen people get stopped at only 15 meters on this map. This is a very defense-friendly map, at least at the start. However, I just haven't seen a lot from the Sunsets here to give me confidence that they can do that.
Yeah, well, we did see them early on that they were neck and neck with the Decapitators. They were looking really good at the beginning. It seems like they've been struggling a little bit these last 2 points, but if they play anything like we saw in the first point of Lijiang, there is still a chance that they can hold this. They are going for more of a brawly comp here, while the Decaps are looking more at that poke on attack. Maybe the Sydney Sunsets have something up their sleeve. Maybe they're planning on a close hold or a corner hold or something that'll set the Decapitators on their back foot. But 8 seconds left before we get started here. Sydney Sunsets playing here for a chance, their last chance to start the reverse sweep and win the game as we head on to the second half of Circuit Royale. I blanked on the map name.
Yeah, and we do see the Sunsets here just trying to do this close hold. Garlic Bread, though, seems to be the only thing they want to do is just charge into the other team, and it hasn't really worked out for them very well so far. And the Sunsets already giving the cart back up to the Decapitators as they essentially just give up holding them at their spawn door. And Sephora already out of the fight early. And here comes the rest of the Sunsets who are hiding in that side room or trying to do whatever they can. They do get slept here. Andy, though, on that Jungle Queen, able to take care of Doc. And the numbers just keep falling for the Sunsets here, but Smarty falls by Garlic Bread. However, Pyro comes right back with 2, and now it's essentially Garlic Bread versus everyone on the Decapitators. And that is not working out in their favor.
You know, I don't actually hate that strat by the Sydney Sunsets. They tried to map flip. They tried to give the Decapitators a little bit of a different look, and they were able to stagger the card enough that they get another fight here. Might be kind of tough. They're going to be down Sephora coming in here with a late stagger by Smugs, but that said, they may have enough of a regroup in order to get one last fight on this cart before it pushes its way in.
Yeah, and we're probably going to see Garlic Bread here come charging in. Doc making the swap over to the Echo is an interesting one. Maybe not one that he expects the Decapitators to look for, but you know, we are seeing the Sunsets now contest this cart right now. Andy takes care of Fish. Vincent falls, so no supports left for the Sunsets. That's not how you want to go. Doc just decides to emote there and accept death. Garlic Bread eventually falls as well, and the Decapitators here will win this series. However, there is still one more map left to go.
Yep, one more map, and map differential still matters at this point in the game. We're still sort of vying for playoff spots. Decapitators coming out and proving that they deserve to be talked about in contention for the best teams in this tier. We came in saying that they're the number 2 ranked team. I think they're only second to the Guangzhou Gangsters right now. And from what they're looking like today, they deserve to be in those top 2 teams. They're playing very clean. They're playing really well. Like I said earlier, every player is just playing their roles perfectly. Dex, who stood out to you in this match so far?
I mean, honestly, it's probably been mostly Pyro and Aura for the Decapitators. Their DPS line has just been great so far, honestly. Like, they did it so much on Lijiang Tower. The EMPs from Aura were huge. On the second point, Pyro was able to get so many disruptor shot kills that it really ended fights before they even got started. And then we go over to Midtown, and it just seemed like it was just such a DPS diff there on that map. And it's because we did see the Sunsets come out with an interesting comp trying to catch the Decapitators off guard a little bit, but just didn't work out for them. And on that third map, we just saw the Sunsets do role swaps, and I don't necessarily think that was the right move for them. Maybe they're just trying to get something to go their way, but as you said, maybe, you know, the Decapitators are in the Sunsets' heads a little bit.
Yeah, and I noticed that too, because wasn't Garlic Bread playing Pharah on Lijiang, like in the first map? So, and it could have to do with hero pools too. Like with Overwatch 2 coming out, maybe Garlic Bread plays Ryan, and Sephora doesn't play Ryan as much, and they were like, no, we really want a Ryan player on this map. Kind of hard to say without being in the room with the players themselves, but gotta hand it to them. They're trying out something different. They're not just running sort of stock standard stuff, since they're trying to give the decaps a little bit of different look. Unfortunately, just didn't work out for them for these last 3 maps, but maybe have a chance to turn it around here and pull a map off of them as we head to Coliseo, our push map for today.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what both these teams come out with here, because I feel like Push is still trying to figure out what type of game mode or what type of comps you want to go with. I've seen a lot of dive. I've seen a lot of just trying to hide behind or trying to use a Reinhardt on these maps, because a huge shatter, especially one around that bot, could be an instant team fight and a swap of that bot. And look, we already see the Sunsets coming out with the Rhine, and the Decapitators coming, or at least teasing us with a Roadhog here to start out.
And maybe they will stick on it. I mean, maybe it's a, hey, you guys have won the game, just play whatever you want to play map, but Sydney Sunsets don't look like they're going down without a fight. So, oh no, there they go over onto a more stock standard comp. We do see Doc going over to the Pharaoh on here. Decapitators do still have Pyro on the Sojourn and Smugs on the Baptiste to contest, but 2 very different comp styles coming in as we move towards the middle of the point.
Yeah, and the bot does not open up for a little bit here, but this does allow a team fight to break out. Normally, the team fight should be, you would expect it to be done before the bot does unlock here. Aura already taking out Fish, now is harassing Vincent in that backline, having to use their cleanse. They're already down. Garlic Bread out as well, and the Decapitators easily winning that team fight now begin to push.
Yeah, having a Genji, one of the reasons Genji is so strong right now is there's just so much less peel available for the support players. So Aura able to just get in the back line, pick off one support and then the other, and the fight was basically over before it even started for the Sydney Sunsets.
Yeah, now look at this. Pyro and Andy, as well as Aura, are all up there on the bridge now, kind of trying to trap the Sunsets in their spawn. Here comes Garlic Bread with another charge, misses the bot and everyone on the Decapitators there, and already Fish and Doc out for the Sunsets. Vincent having to teleport to, I believe that was Aura, to keep them alive, or keep Garlic Bread alive, but that does not work. Vincent then eventually falls to Smugs, as well as the Decapitators continue to push this bot to that first point.
Yeah, and the Decapitators did a really good job there. They didn't let the Sydney Sunsets determine where the fight was going to happen. They were like, no, we know you want to fight on bot. To stop it, we're going to stop you before you can even get there. Causing the Sydney Sunsets to play really split and allowing them, the Decapitators just pick everyone off easily.
Yeah, look at this. Vincent immediately teleporting here to Garlic Bread to try to keep them alive. And he takes care of Fish already. Garlic Bread is out of the equation as well. Same can be said for support. Vincent falls as well. And so far, the Decapitators here looking to 4-0 this to only help to prove that they are probably one of the, or if the, wow, I cannot speak, one of probably the best teams, or are the best teams in this Transcendence tier.
100%. Sydney Sunsets just don't seem to have an answer for anything the Decapitators are throwing their way right now. We see Vincent on the Sunsets is really the only person with their ult. It's a big ult. It can be a game changer, especially with this long sort of last hold point to hold here, since it's a kind of a straight line thing. But it'll be interesting to see whether they're able to pull it up. We see Garlic Bread switching over. Late pick onto Doc, though, is going to make it, so they may have to fight a man down here.
I mean, at this point, they're going to probably have to, and it's kind of looking at the just ult charts for the Sunsets right now. Vincent is the closest one, and we've played almost 3 minutes of this match already. The fact that Vincent is the only one really close to an ultimate is kind of bad for the Sunsets. Now, all of them, at least all the live members of the Sunsets, are hiding out in that small room. Doc is the first one to leave it and immediately dies. It seems like Aura is up there saying hi, eventually takes care of Sephora and Fish, and now the Decapitators are really, really close to ending this map.
Yeah, we see Andy going for a little bit of a close hold. They're like, you're not even going to touch it here. Trying to get a cheeky little back contest from Garlic Bread, but Sunsets are just playing so split right now. It's going to be really tough for them to do anything, and the pause comes in. They're going right back into it. Never mind.
Yeah, it looks like,
see...
I do not know what's going on.
Well, some occasional pauses going on here, but Andy has the grab coming up. Looks like we're going back into it here. Just really, really kind of a late stagger fight coming in from the Sunsets here, but in the end, it looks like the Decapitators are going to take it fairly handily and push this to a 4-0 for them.
Yeah, the Decapitators were easily by far the better team here tonight. The Sunsets, I honestly expected a little bit more of them. I've seen them play before, and this is just not what I've seen them play like before. It seemed like they kind of gave up after Midtown.
And it's such kind of a sad thing to see, right? Like, we saw that they had the ability to be great. We saw them on Lijiang Tower take that first point to 99-99. They didn't exactly have as much success on the second point, but they were doing pretty well. And then whether it's just the Decapitators got their stuff together a little bit better, or whether the Sunsets sort of got into their own heads a bit, it's hard to say. But that's nothing to say anything against the Decapitators. Decapitators played everything super flawlessly. They were able to just get the picks they needed. They were able to use their ultimates well, and overall just put on a really good performance.
Yeah, and overall, the Decapitators proving that they probably are one of the best, if not the best team here in the Transcendence tier. The Guangzhou Gangsters probably do have something to say about that, so whenever those two meet, it will be a must-watch game. However, the Sydney Sunsets came into this one as the 4th ranked team in the Transcendence tier. And after this one, I don't really know. They'll probably stay relatively high, but it didn't seem like they were the 4th best team tonight.
And maybe they were just having an off night. It does happen. And maybe it's just showing the disparity between the top 2 teams in the tier and sort of the rest of the tier between the Decapitators and Guangzhou Gangsters. But with all that being said, Dex, who was your player of the match tonight?
I mean, I have to go back and, I talked about Pyro and Aura there a little bit, but honestly, Andy was such a rock for them. I want to give it to Andy, their tank. They were just such a rock. They always seem to be in the right spot. They always seem to be doing the right thing for them. And no matter what they were on, whether it was Zarya, Diva, or as we even saw on Circuit Royale, we saw Drunken Queen come out. They played almost every tank they played perfectly tonight.
And here I thought I was going to be unique and different, and you were going to say the DPS, and I was going to be like, aha, the tank, though. But since you're picking Andy, I'm going to go for the easy pick. I'm actually going to call out specifically Aura from Decapitators. Just really solid play. Saw them play a lot of good roles. They were just absolutely eating up the backline as both Genji and Sombra. Just really solid plays all around from them, for sure. But although that's the end of the game tonight, we do still have a couple of games left this week. Tomorrow with the EU Discord tier match, and the which will be at 8:30, or I can't remember whether it's going to be 8:30 or 9 p.m. CEST. 9 p.m. CEST. Thank you so much. And the Discord tier match for the NA tier as well, which will be at 9 p.m. EST. So hope to see you guys all there. This is the second week of the second round. Lots of Overwatch left to play as we head into the playoffs. But thank you all for joining us tonight. Again, I have Ben Beth Khan joining me as Dexatron, and thanks for tuning in.